Hello, welcome to JAMBOX Entertainment Studios. Today we have a very special guest who has been actively involved in the musical theater for many years. One of his latest projects, Golden Boys, was worked on right here at JAMBOX Entertainment and recently debuted in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This man has been so busy with his independent projects that it's almost impossible to keep up with him. Here at JAMBOX, I'd like to introduce Mr. Horace Turnbull.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how you got into the entertainment business.
Well, I started when I was 7 or 8 years old dancing, and from there I just evolved into going to college and going to New York, where I continued my studies with dance or musical theater, and then from there I started doing shows. I started working on productions, behind the scenes as well, and then the evolution of my career continued just after that.
Okay, all right. Any notable things that stand out? Any certain projects that stand out to you that you'd like to mention?
I would say the tap dance kid was probably one of the most influential shows in my career for a number of reasons. I think because I was fortunate enough to work with the choreographer Danny Daniels at the time in many, many different ways on that particular show, but most importantly, I was able to see the behind-the-scenes workings of a Broadway musical. And from that particular show specifically, I really learned the ins and outs, not just creatively, but also the managerial and producing sides of a musical. So that probably was one of the most important shows of my career.
Okay. And what or who would you say has been your inspiration?
I can't think of any specific person that's inspired me, but I would say that I've always been inspired by talented people.
Okay.
So that list can go on and on with, talented people who inspire me.
Would you like to, again, mention any names specifically, or you want to just kind of leave it?
I mean, if they're singers, Donna Summer, Laverne Baker, if they are choreographers, Chris Chadman, Danny Daniels, so forth. If they're actors, James Cagney, Doris Day. I mean, so the list goes on and on. Just depends on the genre and what we're talking about. Yeah.
All right. Now, what projects have you been working on lately?
The Golden Boys project is still in development as it moves forward. That was the musical that you introduced, which was, or is, about, it's loosely based on the first racially integrated Army unit, which was in 1943. And I'm currently working on another show, which is about dreams. So those are the two things that I'm working on right now, simultaneously.
Okay, that's got your hands full right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And what brought you to JAMBOX Entertainment?
This is where a lot of the process, at least with the music, starts. Doing demos. After the music is written and the arrangements are done, my arranger's name is Tommy James. Once we do that, then we need to bring singers in. Once the singers are brought in, then I get to hear whether what's in my mind actually is going to happen, and any adjustments that need to be made, whether it's tempo, keys, lyrics, just any kinds of adjustments are done through those demos, and the demos will determine if I'm happy with what it is that I'm going to hear once the show's performed live. So that's really what and how JAMBOX plays a role in the development of the musical. And it's better to do it now in terms of working on a musical, because I've seen it done where writers and a team really don't hear what the music is until they have a cast there. And then that gets kind of late into the process. It's easier to do it in the beginning, I think, and to make any determining, changes, if indeed you want to make any changes.
Yes, that definitely helps the flow out, I guess. All right, and tell us about your biggest challenges in your career thus far.
I would say the biggest challenge is people's inconsistencies.
Would you like to expand on that at all?
Just people's inconsistencies of people often, sometimes they uh, would like to do something, but for whatever reasons they can't, fulfill. Sometimes, things are more challenging than people thought that they were going to be. And then, as a result, I think there's that need to take ownership for one's actions and abilities sometimes. So I think really the biggest challenge always is, people's inconsistencies, which is why I always work only with the same people because, I know exactly who I'm going to get, what I'm going to get. And that's really the challenge in entertainment is once people, have a circle of people that they work with, they really, there's no reason for them to go outside of that circle. So that really, I think, is across the board, not just for myself, but anyone in, entertainment when they talk about, they really want to break into this or break into that. It's hard because the circle's already closed.
Yeah.
So I think that's been my biggest challenge, and I'm sure for a lot of other people, people's inconsistencies.
Yeah. I think it's a really good answer. That's definitely something that can be overlooked.
Yeah.
All right. And can you tell us about your proudest achievement in your career?
Like I said earlier, I think that it's always been my goal, and I've always I'm always motivated, inspired by working with with talented people, and for a very very long time, um, you know, that really was my ultimate goal to be able to work with the kinds of people and the types and level of talent that I deem as talented. And that has really always been my goal. So I think that I've actually achieved my goal, which is to work with only the kinds of people that I deem as talented. So,
Would you like to mention some of those people who specifically?
let's see, Ty Stevens, Greg Sisko, um, uh, uh, I'm trying to think of some of these names of some of these other singers and actors and performers. My producer Jeremy Van Susen, um, uh, Kim Martinez, who was my director in Minneapolis for the show. Um, there are just so many different people and so many different aspects that have been, so instrumental in part of this entire process. So there's not even just like I wish I could say there's one person, but there isn't because it's like this huge working body with all these parts and so many people that are so critical.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Beyond the was it the Tap Dance Kid?
Yes.
Beyond that, what would you say is your other favorite project that you've worked on or that you felt most successful in?
Um, well, I wouldn't say that the Tap Dance Kid was my favorite. I think the Tap Dance Kid was just a show that gave me a window really into entertainment on many, many levels. As I said, I was able to I didn't just perform in the show, I was behind the scenes as well. And I was very, very young at the time to be able to really see how things are put together. And it's great and it's wonderful to, say that you want to be a director, you want to be a choreographer, you want to be a producer. Um, but unfortunately, people skip the steps of learning actually how to or seeing how to do things from people who are doing it well or who've been doing it for a number of years. So I think that that's why I always talk about that particular show. But every show that I've worked on, every project that I've worked on, has taught some kind of lesson that's important for me to move forward as I evolve. Like I said to you before. So any other project, I mean, every single one, as I said, and sometimes it's not the ones that are great. Sometimes it's, I've learned most of my lessons from some of those projects that I've worked on, whether it's my own or someone else's, um, who had a series of challenges and problems. Um, So very often it's not about how you perceive something as being good or being bad. I think the important thing that I've learned from everything is, to have a critical eye and to always think not about what you don't like, but what would I do differently if I could. And that's a much more challenging question than I just don't like it. So, that's what I do with my music. That's what I do with my writing. That's what I do with, the actors I work with, the singers I work with, the dancers I work with, the directors I work with, the scenic people that I work with. Again, it goes back to the whole thing about that whole machine with so many people being involved. And if you're in charge, and I happen to be in charge, then, it's easy to say I don't like it, but then you have to have a solution or an idea as to what do you like. And again, sometimes I work with people who don't even know what they want. But, they sometimes expect people to be able to read their minds. So it's really being clear with your vision as well. And that's what I try to do with mine, being clear.
Okay. All right. Is there any advice you'd like to give someone trying to get into the entertainment industry?
I think the only thing that I can say is that they need to be certain that this is the career of their choice and that it's going to be a lot of work and a lot of effort, certain disappointment at some point, and to be able to be disciplined enough. This is a word that people don't talk about very much anymore, to be disciplined enough. Another word is to be humble enough to learn and to continue to learn. Another word that people don't talk about. And then to have some sort of level of integrity. Because in the end, all you have is really integrity. Again, 3 words that are not spoken about very much anymore.
All right. What can we expect from you from the near future? Anything you are excited to share with us?
The only thing I can say is that Golden Boys is in development. I'm not sure where or what the next step is going to be with that particular project, but it certainly is moving forward. As I said, I'm working on another show called In My Dreams. I've been working on some of that here at JAMBOX as well. I'm not sure when I'll be finished with that. I'm still working on the actual script and music itself. So those are the 2 things right now that are up and coming.
All right. And where can your fans follow you or find you and find out more about your projects? Any social media or websites?
I think it's on. I think there's a since I'm not a social media fan, there's a Golden Boys Facebook page, and I know that there's goldenboysthemusical.com online where it has all the information about the actual Golden Boys show, the cast, the team, etc.
Okay. Thank you very much, Horace. It was a pleasure having you here at JAMBOX.
You're welcome.